Welcome to Van Tate's Sports Office, an in-depth look at the world of sports, featuring exclusive interviews with our KRQE News Sports Director, Van Tate, sponsored by Caesars Sportsbook at Route 66 Casino.
Well, on this show, I guess we have the need for speed because we have Jim Guthrie here today. Jim, former Indy Racing car driver, and I think people remember you most. Let's just get the cat out the bag. The Phoenix 200. Take us back, Jim.
1997, man. That's a long time ago. You win one race, you know?
Yeah, well, that race, you had to win it. And
We did have to win that race. We had borrowed, I don't know, somewhere around $185,000, mortgaged the house, and we went there on a borrowed trailer and a prayer and a wing and a prayer, as they say. And
you won, man.
And we won.
I just remember ESPN making a big deal out of it, which was a big deal. I mean, because basically you were man, that was such a risk. I was like, I hope he's okay. I hope his wife doesn't kill him when he comes back, and you've won. You know.
Well, we knew we were fast, but we didn't know if we were going to win. And about halfway through the race, I was like, yeah, I got this thing in the bag. So
talk about that, man. You know that you had to win, and the closing laps of that race, how much was the hair standing up on your back or whatever?
You know, it's just all focused forward. It was almost surreal. When you're in the car, there's such a focus. You don't notice time, temperature, pain. You're just doing what you know. And honestly, what I loved. So it was funny because we had gone there to test in February, and we were like third quick. And we went back for the race, and, I mean, we were running a couple laps and parking the car. We had no spares. We changed the oil before the race. Other teams are changing all kinds of stuff. They're changing the transmission, gearing, they're changing engines. We didn't have any of that. So we had what we brought. And the day before, my dad was older, and he was sitting up in the grandstands. I told my wife, make sure Dad knows how to get to victory lane. And so I was planning it in my head. I was planning the win. And sure enough, it went our way. So it was fun. It was a great day. There was no doubt.
It sounds like you guys were the Dollar General of the race, man. You were balling on a budget.
Yeah, we were.
No room for error, huh?
No room for error. There was a lot of borrowed parts on that car. A lot of the vendors around the paddock had loaned me. Carbon brakes was the most expensive. It was like $80,000 for carbon brakes back then. And we had the big old Steelies, and we ran those at Disney World the race before, and it was like turning a freight truck without any power steering because with all that mass going forward, it doesn't want to change direction.
Yeah.
So we took off, I think it was 20 pounds per corner of mass, rotating mass, and the car instantly was faster, and it turned easier. It was a dream to drive. So man, it was easy.
You know, I just I remember running into Alonso Jr. once at one of those. It was I can't remember the name of this place. It was a game place that they used to have food and all that stuff, and it was over by like Montgomery and somewhere. And I ran into him, and I was asking him about those games where you in the race car. I said, "Does it really?"
The simulators, yeah.
Yeah, the simulators. He was actually in one. I said, "Is it really like that when you're in a race?" Because man, I would crash every race. I mean, everything's moving this way, and you can't really you can't mess up. You just can't.
No, not at those speeds.
How hard is that to do, man?
Well, the simulators are great. I broke down and bought one about a year and a half ago. These 15, 14-year-old kids, that's all they do is play these games all day.
So they should be good at it.
And they're really good at it. And they come to the racetrack, and they're whooping me because they have all this current information. Wow. I got tired of taking 2 or 3 sessions to get to speed. Now I can be at speed the first time out because you have to be. These kids are fearless. They never write a check, and they've never been hurt. So they get in the car and they go like it's on reset. You just hit the button, right?
So have you seen any of the kids where you're talking about they're beating you? Any of them up and coming that could take the mantle that you guys had here, like the Unser family and you being Jim Guthrie, you guys, how we used to cover racing a lot here because you guys are killing it.
There are so many kids that are teenagers right now. Mm-hmm. One's a teammate. He just was the second youngest winner in the TA2 series two races ago. 14 years old, 10 months and 19 days. This kid has already been signed by Spire Motorsports. He's a Chevy driver. Another guy, Corey Day, Kyle Larson says he's one of the best in the country. Better than him, by the way, which is a huge statement.
Wow.
His 4th race, he's on the pole at Mid-Ohio when he finished 3rd at Road America last week. He's a sprint car guy. I tested with him in December at Sonoma. The kid had never shifted a car before, other than a street car. And he was quicker than me first time out. And we're in the rain. I was just blown away. This kid is they just have so much talent, and they're fearless. Yeah, so there's a lot of those guys out there. And by the way, he's already signed by Hendricks, and he's wearing the Kyle Larson Hendricks copy driver suit. So you'll hear a lot about those kids in the future. Tristan McKee and Corey Day.
Both out from Albuquerque, huh?
No, they're not from Albuquerque.
Okay.
Nope, nobody.
Do you have any local drivers?
There's a couple of them. The Cahan brothers and Isaac Treza Aleman. They're all teenagers. They race out at the local track here at Suica Circuit, Sandia. And they've done Formula 1600, the Lucas Oil Series. They do currently Miatas and go-karts. So, but that's all you can afford when you don't have a huge sponsor, Yeah. So, no different than where I was back in the day, trying to get a sponsor.
Well, when people hear you say that they beat you, yes, he's still racing. He's still racing. And then, Jim, that's like, are you going to be one of those guys that just get out of the car at the age of 80 or what? What's going on?
If I make it to 80, maybe. We'll see.
You just keep going.
Each day at a time, man.
Do you live by, like, I always say, hey, I had somebody ask me once, man, you still working on and running and stuff like that? I said, yeah. This is why. I said, because I can.
Absolutely.
You just keep going, man.
3 days a week at the gym, doing my therapy. So got to. For your mind and your body.
The conversation is just getting started. We have more on the other side.
What kind of racing are you doing now?
So it's called Trans Am. It's like 52 years old. I think it's the oldest road racing series in the United States.
What about the drivers? How old do they have to be?
There are some older guys there.
Anybody got you?
There's a few.
Okay.
There's a few.
All right.
But most of them are a lot younger than me.
All right, yeah, that's what I figured.
Usually when I'm on the podium, if you add up all the other drivers, they still don't equal my age.
And they're looking at you like, they think they got you. As soon as you show up there, I got this guy.
Right, until we get on track. So, I've had a pretty good year so far. We won a race at Sonoma, and we're second at Laguna, and now we're headed to Portland in 2 weeks. So in the TA Cup car, which is a NASCAR Cup motor that runs either a Mustang, a Camaro, or Challenger body. So
when you go to these races, do people remember? Because I think you remember how. I mean, that thing, the national coverage you got for winning that Phoenix 200 was like crazy. Do people remember that? Do people know that you're that guy?
The guys that are gray do. The young kids don't know who I am.
They're just like, well, some old guy was out here.
Who's this old guy?
Out here driving,
Oh, yeah, it's funny. All the old guys know who I am, and it's cool to meet up with some of the old fans. So I remember you winning that race, and so, yeah, it's kind of fun. So
no wild hair that's making you think, like, you know what, I need to get back in that Indy car.
Well, I had a couple of thoughts, but they don't last long. The problem is that, I think a 53-year-old is the record now at Indy.
Oh,
I think
really?
that was the oldest driver, and then Mario tried it, and either he was 53 or 56. I can't remember.
Mario said, "Forget this."
Well, he crashed. Remember, he went upside down, and then he got the nickname Ario Andretti because he got big air, and he hasn't been in a single seater since. But he's driven a lot of the 2-seater stuff.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you just no more IndyCar.
I'd like to think I can, but
come on,
you lose your reaction time as fast as I think I am. I'm not. These kids they're karate kids compared to me. So
so you could tell that you lost a step.
Well, when you're doing 230 miles an hour, if you have to think about it, you miss the corner. You're going over 330, 40 feet a second. If you think about turning, it has to be instinct.
That's what I'm saying. I can't even imagine being one of those, because every time I was in those simulators, like just doing it for fun, and I try to go super fast, I just crash, man. I don't even,
So do I.
Well, it doesn't look like it,
In the simulators, it's easy. You just hit reset. But yeah, these kids, they're amazing. I mean, you think about Tony Kanaan, Scott Dixon, some of these older guys. They've still got it, but they do it every week in and week out, and they only have a few weeks off every year. But Scott and Tony, they're definitely coming to the end of their time. Tony did the rookie orientation again this year because he thought he might have to drive Kyle's car, but he didn't have to. And so But as far as I know, he's retired from racing now. So.
What about the F1 is like that's like kind of like they even made a movie about it. It's kind of like
that's pretty popular right now. It sure is.
Yeah.
You know, and those F1 teams are no different than the Indy and NASCAR teams. They're signing these kids off of a go-kart track when they're 11, 12, 13, and 14 years old, signing them to a team and then giving them the resource and the teams
keep racing
to keep racing and to see which one peaks, and that's the one they take.
That's crazy, man. I never knew it was. It's almost like
it's a farm league.
Sport. Yeah, like
absolutely.
Just like a baseball or whatever. It's just the same thing.
Little league, baseball, college.
I had no idea it was like that.
Yep. So they've got scouts all over the place. You think about Alex Palou, the current champion. What's his name? Yasukawa. He was a ex-racer a long time ago. He turned into more of a manager. So he goes and travels all these races. He found Alex over in Spain and then brought him to the IndyCar drivers, and then Chip Ganassi tested him and hired him. So it's out there. There's still guys out there looking for that raw talent, and it exists.
And so when you were coming up, when you were on the circuit, none of that, right? No extra.
There was some of that, but there wasn't as much money in it. So you weren't going to pay like a baseball scout how much they make compared to a race scout.
Right.
I mean, those guys were working. They had to pay all their own expenses, and then they would get a percentage of like a first-year salary, which wasn't very much in those days. Nowadays, it's sizable, especially in Formula One.
So I know you got a lot going on with your garages, the Guthrie's garage.
Yeah, Guthrie's garage.
So I know you got a lot going on with that. But do you ever scout? Do you ever do any of those things like that? Because I mean, you're racing still.
Nah, I don't have time. I do a lot of coaching at the local track, young and old. I just have fun making guys faster. So
do people come up to you and like try to zap you for information all the time? Or?
All the time. I show them my in-car camera and show them what they're doing wrong. If they have an in-car camera, they follow me, or I'll ride with them. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. What's
the fastest you think you've ever gone?
That would probably be Indy 96 or Vegas 96. We went across the stripe at 242, and you're still flat, so you're gaining speed. So I think 246, 245 into turn one.
Man, what is that like, man?
You know, you don't even notice. It's all relative until you see somebody stopped, or when they're doing 140 trying to get off the race, and you go by at 100 miles an hour, and you go, phew, that was fast.
Yeah, so. That's the one. You know what? We had just had this conversation. I was telling the guys in our sports office that when you're at the track and you're actually at those races, that's the one thing I remember the most from Indy 500 is the cars are like, I mean, it doesn't look like that on TV. You know,
no,
they can't capture that on TV, like how fast it's really going, because it's crazy.
Yeah, if you sit on the start-finish line and you're looking straight across the track, you can barely see them go by.
Stay with us. More conversation on the other side.
We'll get back to the episode in a moment. Monica Wicki here, host of New Mexico Living. I wanted to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Route 66 Casino and Caesars Sportsbook. If you love sports and like having a little action on the game, Caesars Sportsbook is your go-to destination. For rewards and more info, go to Route66Casino.com. Now back to the episode.
So what kind of pit stories do you have, like trying to get out the pit fast? And do you have any where it was like tuck and go, like where?
So probably the worst pit stop I'll remember is my first IndyCar race. Mm-hmm. And we were in a car that another team had brought down, and they were out of Colorado. And one of my buddies, first time being the pit crew guy, you know, they were all changing tires. We practiced, right?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't get the nut tight.
Oh, no.
And this was at Phoenix in 96. So I leave the pits, and they're on the radio, wheels loose. And I could see it, right? In the mirror, the left rear tire was just wobbling like crazy. Luckily, left rear. So I was able to, because you're turning left, I was able to stay on the warm-up lane all the way back around, come to pit lane. They popped it off, put a new one on, because by then it had just destroyed the wheel.
Wow.
And then it's a single nut. It's a big single nut, and it has a big gun. And you have to get it on there right, and you have to hammer it. And he just didn't get it on right. So
I bet it was.
That cost me, I think it was 2 laps. So our race day was over at that point.
So he's the guy who, like Homer Simpson, backs into the bushes. That was was that him that day?
Well, it's sad because he said, Jim, I screwed you up. He says, I'm never going to pit for you again. I just don't trust myself. And I said, okay, Mark, I appreciate you, buddy. So we did a lot of miles together back in the day, working our way up to Indy. And he was part of the team, and he thought he let me down, so he didn't want to do it anymore. So.
Well, I can see why he would think that, because that's a big race. And
it's a lot of pressure. It's a team sport. It's not about a driver. It's a team sport.
Right. As far as you mentioned it earlier that you guys have ear protection.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever been without it and got a chance to like experience the
I have driven cars without the radio because we have radio communications through their ear, and they're custom molds. And sometimes if they go bad, you have to just go get a standard mold, which is just a little foamy with a piece in there, that you can hear from. And I did one session, and the noise bounces off the wall and comes back into the car, and it's piercing. And it's like being at a concert, standing in front of the speaker, and your ears ring for the next day. That's what it feels like. Your ears ring for the next day or two.
Oh, man.
Just that constant. Oh, man. It's happened 2 times. So, yeah.
Do you feel like you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish? Because, I mean, there's a lot of people that race and they never win.
Right.
You have a victory, like and how many victories are we talking about?
One at Indy. In my lifetime, I don't remember. There's been considerable number. I've been very, very fortunate in my career.
One of those guys notching, like, I got another one here.
Nah.
You can't just
You just go to the next one. You just go to the next one. Hundreds of races, thousands probably.
The Indy was the best one.
That was perfect. Yeah, that was something else.
Was that surreal?
It was in the moment. It was like you don't even recognize. It's like I just won this race, and then you do the fist pump, and then you go, "Wow!"
How was the milk?
It was awesome. And you know what was weird?
What's that?
Is that was the first time that they had done milk in the victory lane other than Indy. I had no idea.
Really?
Yeah. I still have my milk bottle. It's got my picture down, and they're drinking the milk. It's in my little trophy cabinet.
So how many had adopted that policy after that? Then
I don't know. I guess every race after that. So it was crazy. It was the milk growers of Indiana, and they were the ones that sponsored it. And they actually give you I think it was a couple $100 if you drank their milk. And that happened because of when back in the day, Emerson Fittipaldi, remember at Indy when he turned down the milk? And he drank orange juice because he owned orange juice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He owned
owned
orange trees.
That. Yeah, okay.
And so now before the race, the milk growers, they go out and they hand you all kinds of goodies and swag, and they give you a little check to drink the milk in case you're on the podium.
So did you take a swig, or did you?
I was so thirsty because I didn't have a drink.
So you
back
finished it. You
then.
Downed it.
I didn't down it, but I took a big old giant and then poured it on me. So yeah.
If you had drank the whole thing, man, they'd be
might have puked. Might have puked.
Yeah, that would have been so. You take a little swig and you pour it all over you. And,
yep.
And then you just black out, right? You don't remember anything after that because you were so elated.
It's crazy. I have to remember it through the pictures that everybody sent me. So got lots of those, by the way.
Did somebody take you for like a big dinner or something like that?
Yeah. It was funny. A lot of Japanese guys, because Firestone took me out to dinner. It was the first win for Firestone, and I gave Dallara the first win in the United States for their chassis.
Oh, wow.
And so they took us, and they actually made a little Guthrie wine and Blueprint Racing wine.
Was the Guthrie wine good?
None of them were good. They were terrible. They're Italian table wines, right? So they were terrible. But yeah, I still got those on the trophy counter too.
Yeah, you gotta keep that, man, as a souvenir, right?
Yeah, talk about vinegar. I'm sure it's really good now.
You had to break out the ice, man, and try.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you.
Cleaning solution.
Is that bad? It was that bad. Huh?
It wasn't bad then, but I bet it's terrible now. What's that? That's been 28 years ago. So yeah.
Do you feel like, I know I asked you kind of like this earlier. Do you feel like you could be competitive if you were out on the circuit now?
Not in an IndyCar. I just don't think I have the reflexes. I don't think anybody that's over 50 has the reflexes. It's just it's that hard. Even if you did it all your life, it's just
not happening.
It's physiology, man. You just get old. It just happens.
It's not happening. So what kind of sport did you do? Sports in high school growing up, or anything?
I did a little bit of wrestling. Most of the time, I was on a motorcycle. So
did anything help you for your career in IndyCar? You know what I'm saying? Like how stuff transfers over. That's just like if you play multiple sports, you're probably going to be pretty good in football.
Well, I did the crazy sports. Skateboarding, BMX, motorcycles, trials, motocross.
You were always trying to hurt yourself, man.
Fast and Furious. That was me.
All of those sports where it's like, ooh, man, he's not wearing protective gear. He hurt himself.
Yeah, it's so it was always motorsports for me.
How do you remember like your first win ever, even whether if it was the soapbox derby or whatever?
Probably Hot Wheels or slot cars, because I used to carry my slot car around the neighborhood and race all the guys, and mine was hopped up because I did that and learned how to do that, and I always won because I had the soft tires and the big motor. So, yeah, spent my allowance on that.
And that was here in Albuquerque?
That was here in Albuquerque. Yeah, I moved here when I was 3.
So the racing community here in Albuquerque, is it still as big as it once was? Because I know we did a lot of coverage with you guys. Like I said earlier, you and the Unsers, you guys were doing stuff. We had to cover you.
I think it may be bigger, and I say that from not from a professional level, but from a grassroots level. All the dirt track racers that come out to Sandia every other week, all the guys that drift now, because drifting is a huge community that didn't exist back then. And then, of course, you got the super lap guys, which are the time attack, and they'll do 3 laps and come back in. And then the road racing guys, which is the Super Cup, the old swims stuff, the Southwest Motorsports guys. So with all those contingents, which still run local, there's always something going on every week at the racetrack here. I would say it's grown. And of course the TV makes it, all the coverage that we've gotten over the years. Everybody wants to be the next Dale Earnhardt,
Yeah. Well, there's somebody out there trying to be the next Jim Guthrie now. Hey man, thank you for your time. I appreciate you coming through.
You bet, buddy.
Jim Guthrie, racing extraordinaire, still doing it. Right, Jim?
Always.
But
till I die, probably.
in his personal car, he's going about 25 miles per hour because he's hit that age. No. Fernando Perez behind the controls. We'll see you guys next time.